You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. Smitty is live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss. Estás entrado al fantasía fútbol novelas. Espera con el patrón. You are about to enter the fantasy football show. Please stand by like a boss.
Live from Smitty1.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Take a lap.
What is going on? Good people, you're watching the Fantasy Football Show. I am your man, Smitty. And today we're breaking down all of the news that might be sitting on news wires right now. Talking more about Jeudy, talking more about the NFL schedule, talking about James Cook, the man you see right on screen right here. Does James Cook present an opportunity to have sleeper breakout potential in this Buffalo Bills system? Or is he fool's gold? Is he a trap? Is he the next Alvin Kamara? Let's debate that today. Does he have the potential to become something special? Of course he does. Anybody in the NFL can climb up the ranks. We've seen it before. Was Arian Foster really the best player in the NFL? Was he really a top 2 or 3 running back skill set wise when he came out and busted out onto the scene? Some of you were in your diapers back then. But the answer to that question is no, he wasn't. He was in a system, a mix of good talent, not amazing talent. Good talent with amazing situation made him an amazing running back. So James Cook is in an amazing situation. Will they give him volume? We don't know. There's a good chance they do a rotation all year. There's a good chance that James Cook never gets unleashed. There was a similar chance that Alvin Kamara would have never been trusted as an every down back because so many people, not your boy Smitty, Ziggy off. Not your boy Smitty, Ziggy off. He's the worst assistant in the world. Not your boy Smitty. Your boy Smitty had Alvin Kamara pegged as a top 5 overall player in in his rookie season. And a lot of people doubted Alvin Kamara. They said, no, he's too small. He's a scat back. He can never be an every down back. So I don't think that you can take Cook's stature and say Cook can't be this, he can't be that. The problem is, unlike in New Orleans where Peyton loved him, he was well thought of by the coaching staff. This situation in Buffalo, it appears so far that they view him as a change of pace back. The exact quote that has been used already coming from the organization is that he's a sub back, a sub back. He's not a primary every down running back. However, can he prove his own coaching staff and organization wrong? Absolutely. But it's very different to start off with, okay, everybody else doubts Kamara, but his coach drafted him. Guess what? He's going to get opportunity. Is Cook going to get the same opportunity Dalvin Cook or that Alvin Kamara got? Is James Cook, Dalvin Cook's brother, going to get the same opportunity that Alvin Kamara had? I don't know the answer to that. I can't say no, but I don't think he's as talented as his brother Dalvin. I could be wrong on that, or maybe not even wrong. Maybe he develops into a player that is better than his brother because not everybody has that it factor yet. You know, they have a little bit of it. You can sense it. Maybe a coach sees it and the coach says, I can get the most out of this kid. I could turn him into that. Maybe. You can't rule that out. You can't say that James Cook cannot become an elite player. But the odds are against him because I don't feel like the skill set's there yet, and he could improve upon that. I just mentioned that. I don't think the coaching staff believes he's an every down back. That could also develop. I'm not saying that can't. But those are two very big problems to have right out of the gate. I'm going to say that this kid doesn't have every down running back in front of him right now. Doesn't mean it can't change. It doesn't mean I don't love him in redraft at a very, very low range. There's certainly an opportunity for him. He's just got to carve it out and take advantage of it. The reason I even bring him up at the top of the show is that he signed his 4-year contract with the Buffalo Bills. And right here it says, while Brandon Beane said they view Cook as a sub back, so it was Brandon Beane that said it. There's still plenty of upside here. Devin Singletary will be penciled in for a big share of the carries, but Breda is gone, and Zach Moss could be on the outs. Duke Johnson was the only signed free agent, and he also is a sub back in Beane's minds here. So it's basically a guessing game at this point, and I think you could say, oh, yeah, he's going to climb up the ranks. He's going to show his talent. He's going to be elusive. He's going to find a way to get on the field. Singletary won't stay healthy. Look, opportunity alone could open up for him, and Cook could take it and run with it. So that's why I say I like him in redraft if he's sitting there and you're looking at him in like the 8-round range, 9-round range. I'm telling you, I would take a chance on Cook, especially in PPR, in the 7, 8, 9 round range in redraft. He's right there with Madison. Madison's a bigger upside win a league player, but I'm saying he's right there in that group of, okay, the starters are gone. Some people are going to keep picking off wide receiver 3s and 4s. Not your boy Smitty. When people are scooping up wide receiver 3 and 4s and grabbing, backup tight ends and still going after other running backs that may have a better initial, like on its face, grasp of a bunch of carries. Not your boy Smitty. Your boy Smitty's going after home run hitters. Alexander Madison. I'm going after players that can win a league. Davis Price from San Francisco. I'm scooping up all these guys that have that Eli Mitchell feel. And James Cook has it. He has it. This is a weird, confusing little take, I think. I think I'm giving off a vibe of Smitty likes him, he doesn't like him. I don't even know what Smitty's saying, because I don't know that I feel he can become very easily this every down back. But it depends on where you can get him. I'll scoop him up all day in case an injury happens, because Singletary is not the definition of a guy that can handle the workload all season long. I think he could break down, and Cook might just get shoved in, and let's see what he has. 2020 Cook bros gonna be like 2021 Diggs bros. Okay. Johnny likes him. I don't hate this take if someone says, hey, I'm thinking he emerges anyway. There's nothing wrong with that. If you say James Cook, Dalvin Cook's brother, if you say James Cook becomes a top 12 running back in 2022, I'm not gonna make you take a lap. That could happen. Singletary goes down, Duke Johnson, whoever is the other running back, is hurt, and Cook's the only guy. It could happen, and it could happen quick. He's talented. He's really talented. I do think he needs to put on some weight. I think, Alvin Kamara was smaller coming out stature-wise. Like, he still weighs actually a lot, but people looked at Kamara as a small guy. I think Cook, the way he runs between the tackles, he does need to add weight. It's a little different than Alvin Kamara, where Alvin Kamara can survive. His weight's actually ideal for his size and what he does and how he navigates as a wide receiver and running back. Cook is a little different. Cook is more of a, he can catch and do all those things too, but he's more of a running back between the tackles guy than Alvin, in my opinion. So he's gonna need that extra weight. But I'm not expecting anything. I'm scooping him up late or not at all, but I will grab him late. They're all kind of sub backs, whatever that is, says Mr. B. Bruce is in the chat, and the Bruce says James Cook finishes higher than Dalvin Cook. I mean, that could happen based on injury. I'm avoiding Dalvin Cook in 2022 because I feel like his injuries are finally going to get the best of him. Cook equals Trey Lance from last year, meaning that you think he's the guy, but they don't ever give him a shot. Is that what you're saying, Michael K. CPA, who, by the way, is the top super chatter of the year so far in a single live stream with $199. If anybody wants to bump him off, your name will remain at the top of almost every live stream when I remember to activate it. Michael K. CPA, you are at the top, young man, and you continue to reign as the single live stream super chat champion. So if anybody would like to knock him off, he's welcoming the opportunity to get knocked off. So drop that super chat and get a hold of your name at the top of every live stream until someone knocks you off. How about compared to Eckler? Who? Cook? No. Eckler's special. Eckler's like you can't really compare anybody to Eckler. I like Cook. Cook's more comparable to a run more version of Alvin Kamara. Rashad White is a more of a version of Eckler and Kamara, in my opinion. He's definitely that wide receiver, dominant wide receiver running back. Rashad White is the guy that I want. I'll take Rashad White over James Cook all day long. Rashad White is my dark horse of all the running backs in the draft class. This includes Walker and Breece Hall. Rashad White is the guy that, if trusted, if given the carries, the workload, the receptions, can thrive beyond expectation of even me, of anyone. This kid has Alvin Kamara 2.0 written all over him. Not the Walmart version of Alvin Kamara. This is the real deal. This is the 2.0 version, maybe the improved version. You heard me right. Your boy called Alvin Kamara. I have a little authority to tell you when I see the next Alvin Kamara. I think I've earned a little bit of leeway there. I will say Rashad White can be as good, if not even a touch better than Alvin Kamara, if he's leaned on. I can't control if a team's going to lean on him. I think Tampa Bay's a very good landing spot because Leonard Fournette continuously disappoints throughout his career. Granted, he's been very good lately. They did sign him. They brought him in as a starter. But drafting Rashad White, a pass-catching back, a guy that can pull in the football, something that Tom Brady specifically wants. Is why they brought Giovanni Bernard in last year, and that didn't work out to an extreme degree. But I think that this kid, Rashad White, is exactly what Tom Brady wants. He's got to learn pass protection. We know that. That's a given. He needs to learn pass protection specifically to the Bucs. That's another given. But once he learns that, he's a smart kid. Rashad White becomes a baller, and I want him in every single league I can scoop him up in. I want Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and Rashad White. I love all three running backs. And no, I don't love all running backs. I don't love all rookies. That's why I'm not as high on James Cook as maybe some of you are. And I'm still scooping him up though, because I love grabbing late running backs. It's just it's a great way to win your league, because if you land the player, you're in the money. This signing right here triggers a little bit more concern for Mike Thomas. Is Mike Thomas ready? Jarvis Landry set to sign with the Saints, if it hasn't already been inked right now. Landry coming in, is that just a bench move? Is that just a backup move? Or is this a sign that Mike Thomas might not be ready for week one? All of you Mike Thomas believers, and you're loud out there. You are loud. You say things like, Smitty, you're going to be sorry. He's going to be the number one. This and that. And no, Swaggy, I'm not saying Mike Thomas is anything to write home about. I'm not saying to grab him. He's not fantasy relevant at all. So know that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this could be a sign that Mike Thomas isn't fully ready. And we already know he's not. There's obstacles. A report came out saying there's obstacles in his way. He's still not ready to go. What did your boy Smitty say over and over and over all offseason long? And hit that like button on your way in the door. Jerry Jeudy, that like button. Hit that like button, smash it, pulverize it, help your boy Smitty, and drop a live comment, if you will. What did your boy Smitty tell you about Mike Thomas? No news is not good news. Not hearing from Mike Thomas camp, not hearing from Mike Thomas is bad news. It's a bad sign, because it's the exact formula that ended up unveiling its ugly, rearing its ugly head last offseason, this time last offseason, where we got horrible news that Mike Thomas didn't even have surgery yet. And then he had to have surgery. And then he had a complication. Mike Thomas never, ever bounced back at all. And we haven't seen him bounce back in quite some time. This is not something that's like a one-off, one-year type of thing. Mike Thomas has to prove to us he can come back before we believe in him at all. Where would I take Mike Thomas? I suppose I would say 10th round feels really good. Like, would I take a chance on Mike Thomas in round 10? Yeah. But even when I do that, I'm telling you that there's a 50% chance in my mind we're completely disappointed, wasted a 10th rounder, could have grabbed another reach of a running back, like a Davis Price. In the end, are you better grabbing Davis Price, or are you better grabbing Mike Thomas? I have a feeling that people that grab Mike Thomas in round 10, and I grabbed him in 10 in a recent draft, and it didn't feel awful because the players around that range were okay. But are you better off grabbing a Davis Price, the backup running back, the new Eli Mitchell in San Francisco, or you better grab him MT? That's where MT's value is, round 10. If you tell me you're taking MT in round 6, like some of you have in some of my live streams, and I've sent you all on lap after lap, but some of you have come in here and go, he's going to be a wide receiver 1. Get ready. Mike Thomas is going to be the wide receiver 1. The Bruce says MT probably getting traded. He's not getting traded when he's not healthy. He wouldn't pass a physical. Mike Thomas ain't going anywhere. No one wants Mike Thomas. Mike Thomas is injury prone. The Bruce, who knows? But Mike Thomas in round 10, sure. Potentially wide receiver 1. Potentially wide receiver 1, Brian, or a wide receiver 1. Because, Brian, if you tell me he's potentially the number 1 overall wide receiver, I hope you mean just a potential low-end wide receiver 1 somehow, which Brian probably is not happening in and of itself. But if you're saying potentially wide receiver one, explain yourself, Brian. Explain yourself, bro. So round 10, sure. Anything before that, I mean, maybe round 9, you were absolutely running the risk of major disappointment, and you're passing on an Alexander Madison. If you're doing it like in round 8 or 7, you're passing on a Davis Price. You're passing on a Rashad White. Rashad White goes around 7 and 8 and 9. If you take Mike Thomas over Rashad White, you're out of your mind. That is completely...
You've just been Smitty disapproved.
Cook to small juice. Good NFL prospect, but bad at fantasy football, says Andrew. Andrew's talking to Morse code. I'm going to say that Landry's a nothing burger, though. I don't want anybody to take that Landry signing as me endorsing that you take Landry in fantasy football. I'm saying it's a sign that maybe they're worried about their wide receiver room. Maybe we hear something coming down the way that he's banged up more than we think, or he's not going to be close to healthy. Wide receiver one, not the wide receiver one. Well, the way you worded that, Brian, let me get the instant replay out. Instant replay. MT round 10 is a steal, potentially wide receiver 1. Brian, that's how it reads, bro. You're not saying he's a wide receiver 1. You said potentially wide receiver 1. Just saying how it reads. That's why you took a lap. But laps are healthy. Laps are healthy, bro. MT not even the best wide receiver on his team anymore, probably. That's probably true now because Olave's there. MT's not, he's never going to return to an elite wide receiver. He's not. I don't want any Saints player, says Silver. Okay, next piece of news. First of all, guys, you want to be a part of one of the biggest best ball mania tournaments ever. $10 million in prizes. Get on over to smitty1.com and click on this Underdog Fantasy banner. Or if you go to Underdog, enter promo code SMITTY, get a free 10-minute phone call from me, and I'll give you access to my video courses all year long. All you have to do is go to smitty1.com and click on the Underdog Fantasy banner or use promo code SMITTY to get all those perks. But go play this. Look at this. $10 million in prizes, $25 entry. Why would you not want to have one of these entries lingering all year? Why would you not want to jump in? 10 million in prizes, 2 million to first, 1 million to second, and 1 million to the regular season champion. All you have to do is enter a $25 entry by going to smitty1.com, clicking on the Underdog Fantasy banner that you see right in front of your face when you get to smitty1.com. And I can even drop the link in the chat here. But why would you not want to play in this tournament? Why would you not? So go to, let me put this in the chat. It's https://smitty1.com/underdog. Underdog. In the chat, I pinned the link. Go do it. Do it live. Check it out. And
Want bold year-round rankings?
It's time.
No, it's not time to mock draft.
draft.
It's not time to mock draft. It's not time to mock draft. God, I hate when I hit that button on accident. You guys go crazy. You're like, it's mock draft time. Smitty said it's mock draft time. No takebacks. No takebacks, Smitty. You hit the button. Underdog, smitty1.com/underdog. Let me click on the link. Make sure the link works. It's pinned in the chat. Go play Underdog Fantasy. There it is. It works fine. $25 entry. Get your phone call. Play Underdog. Okay, that's out of the way. Jeudy. Let's talk about Jeudy real quick. I don't have any concrete information that he's not getting suspended, but my guess is that he does not get suspended. It's mock draft time. He said mock draft. No takebacks. No takebacks, Smitty. You guys are mock draft nuts, man. I don't think Jerry Jeudy gets suspended. I don't think he gets suspended. Number one, did you guys hear the full details of this story? In Colorado, there's a weird law about taking someone's possessions and becoming an inconvenience to said person. If I take your soda bottle and I take it from you and I inconvenience your property, I'm subject to getting arrested. In Colorado, don't take someone's soda bottle. Don't take The Fantasy Football Show pen. Don't take anybody's items and lock them in your car, even if they have your items, which is strange to me because according to this report, Jerry Jeudy's ex had his cell phone, one of his cell phones he wanted back. Apparently maybe it was in her name, so technically it was her property too. But she had one of his cell phones, his second cell phone, wouldn't give it back to him. So he locked his car. Bloop, bloop. In the car was a car seat. It was baby formula at first in the first report, but then no, baby formula is not talked about. It was a car seat, paperwork, and the ex's wallet, which I could see like, hey, give me my wallet. No, I'm locking in the car. I could see that as a problem. Like, I know that's a problem. That's not a great thing. Like, you could technically say if someone took my wallet out of my pocket, put it in a car and locked it, I'd probably call the police too if I didn't want to, take care of it myself. But so it's a problem. But was she in the car beforehand? Like, how'd that wallet get in the car? You know what I mean? Like, did he just lock his own car and he's like, I'm not unlocking it? Like, the police showed up. The police should have handled this in a civil manner and not arrested Jerry Jeudy because he inconvenienced her property. That's what it is. It's an inconvenience of property called tampering of personal property. And even other attorneys outside of Colorado had never heard of it before. Attorneys everywhere doing radio shows, interviews, attorneys everywhere said, I never even heard it. I got tripped up on this language of tampering with personal property with an escalator of domestic dispute. And the reason the domestic part got thrown in is because it had to do with there was the child items involved and stuff, and that becomes a domestic issue, or because there are a couple, and the domestic part comes into play because the police were called at all. There was no domestic abuse or physical violence of any kind, so this sounds like a real bad way that the police have handled it, and the laws are written in Colorado. So just to kind of hammer home that I don't think anything happens to Jeudy, his ex, as soon as the police got there, she was practically begging them to not arrest him. She called once he was arrested, please drop the charges and let him go. She didn't want it to go this far, but because the police had probable cause that he did inconvenience her property, they had to take him into the letter of the law, which is a stupid letter of the law. It's in Colorado. It's absolutely asinine. And they took this guy, Jerry Jeudy, and they booked him. They put him in jail. No bond. He's currently out now on bond. But I don't know that the NFL is going to be like, you shouldn't have inconvenienced that car seat. How dare you? I think there's a real strong possibility nothing happens. Maybe a fine, potentially, for just being involved in this. If there is a suspension at all, it's going to be like a 1 or 2 game suspension, but I don't even think it goes that far. So Jerry Jeudy season is back on.
Woo.
It's back, baby. Jerry Jeudy season is back.
Smitty, you're not hearing me. I don't know a lot about fantasy football. I know everything about fantasy football. Woo.
It's Jeudy season. Let people freak out. You know what? You and I will go trade for Jerry Jeudy. How about that? Let's show people we're not scared of this tampering little episode. This temper tampering episode. Not me. So looks like he's back. Let's hit the voicemails.
Happy Friday.
Tariq.
Hope everything's going well, and hope everyone in the chat is doing well. With the signing of Jarvis Landry to the New Orleans Saints, what's his look for 2022 going to be? Is he all but washed up, or does he have any fantasy value in 2022? Thanks, Bob.
Who's Jarvis Landry is my question, Tariq.
It's voicemail time. Drop a voicemail at the Fantasy Football Show on the gram. Tell your grandma.
Hey, Schmitty, it's Daniel. Minor news that just kind of dropped, but still curious your opinion on it. Brian Edwards was traded from the Raiders to the Falcons, and I ended up picking him up off waivers in my Dynasty League. I know it's not the biggest move in the world, but just give me your thoughts on what you think about the situation, and then maybe his value long-term in Dynasty formats. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I like Brian Edwards, but he's had an opportunity. He didn't really deliver. Would I scoop him up in a league where, like, there's literally trash wide receivers on the waiver wire, on the waiver wire? It's deep leagues. Yeah, I wouldn't probably cut him, and I'd probably grab him. Like, if we're talking, like, trash. Would I take him in a regular redraft league? No, not yet. Not yet.
Happy weekend, Smitty.
Happy weekend.
Just a quick one today.
Katie.
Would you trade for Jerry Jeudy and A.J. Brown and give up just Nick Chubb?
Jerry Jeudy and A.J. Brown for just Nick Chubb. In a redraft league, maybe. In a dynasty, no. Redraft league, I'd probably take... That's tough. I mean, it depends if you need a running back. It depends if you need a running back. It's all dependent on what you need. But if it's Dynasty, no way. Nick Chubb's got 1 year left in my mind. I'm not going near him in Dynasty. I'd rather have A.J. Brown and Jeudy in Dynasty and redraft. Give me Chubb. Barely.
Hey, Smitty, here's a quick one. Should I trade that 2.05 rookie pick in that other trade that I got? Should I turn that into Jerry Jeudy?
2.5? Yeah. Definitely. Let people freak out on Jeudy, bro. Jeudy may... Okay, here's the thing. Jeudy may have nothing even happen to him. Like, this is why people are so fickle and so interesting. That's why I got a psychology degree, because I found it so interesting. One time, this is what happened. I'm going to show you guys a picture that a guy drew for me. This is why I got a degree in psychology. Okay, you ready? I was at a bar. I was 19 years old, I think. And I was looking at a dude, and he was just staring at me. And I said, can I help you? The dude's like, can I draw you? And I was like, okay. I'm sitting there with my drink. Okay, this is 19-year-old Smitty. Don't ask me why I was 19 and in a bar. I'm not going to answer that question. I'm in there. And I'm looking at him, and I'm sitting there, and, you know, sophomore in college, you can know why I'm in a bar, right? Sophomore in college. You're always in a bar as a sophomore in college. Dude goes like this. This is perfect music for it. Dude draws me for 10 straight minutes. 10 straight minutes. This dude drew me for 10 straight minutes. I was sitting there like, do I pose? Do I hold my drink? What if I hold my drink during part of the sketch and I set the drink down during the other part of the sketch? You know what I mean? Like, I was worried about, like, was I in the right light? Did I need to look at him? This thing was going to be a masterpiece. A masterpiece. The dude was looking at me for 10 minutes drawing. And then he says, are you ready? And he hands me the piece of paper. And it looks exactly like this. 10 minutes he drew it. I swear to you, I'm not joking. This is exactly how this played out. And I literally said to myself, I want to study psychology. I pinned that drawing up on my board. I had it till about 5 to 6 years ago, and I lost it in a move. I pinned it up on a board, and it drove me to become a psychology major in college under my undergrad. I ended up getting a master's in something else, and I never used psychology. But that guy convinced me to be a psychology major. I was so blown away by how this dude in his own mind saw that he could draw me, and he spent 10 minutes, wasted 10 minutes of my time sketching me, and it was literally a police sketch, or a police sketch. I'll read police. It was literally a stick figure. It had no depth to it at all. It was a head, a line. There was no curvature, nothing. This dude sat there for 10 minutes drawing that. Why did I even bring that up? What was the question? It was from the Bruce.
Hey, Smitty, here's a quick one. Should I trade that 2.05 rookie?
Oh, people are fickle. People are fickle. That's what I was saying. People are interesting. Why I got into psychology in the beginning of all this and why I love bringing it into my show. Right now, I'm telling you right now, Jerry Jeudy, maybe he's got a game suspension, maybe not. Maybe a 2-game suspension, probably not. Maybe no suspension at all. But now that he's been tainted, everybody sees Jerry Jeudy as a problem. Everybody already feels like Jerry Jeudy fell flat on his face. He had a bust year. Jerry Jeudy busted already. He busted already. Attention. Jerry Jeudy has already busted. Everyone already has a tainted expression. There's another thing in psychology where you turn. Let me see if I can give you an example. You turn this page, right? And they show a guy. He looks like a normal guy. It says this guy was convicted of armed robbery. This guy abused this person, that person, this person, that person. Then you turn the page and it says, just kidding, he didn't. He actually is a stand-up guy. He donates to charity. He does this and that. What do you see when you look at the guy and it shows the guy again? You can't shake the first things that you heard about him. You can't look at him as a person that donated to charity. You're still judging this guy because of what you heard on the first page. You can't let it go. It's the same concept. Jerry Jeudy is now tainted in everyone's mind. And here the Bruce can get him for a mid-second round pick when beforehand he probably would have cost you a late first round pick or been way over. This guy could be a wide receiver 1 in fantasy. Jerry Jeudy could be a wide receiver 1 in fantasy. Yet we're all looking at him in a different light now because he was arrested. And he was arrested for some bogus Colorado law of taking someone's property and inconveniencing it. So my point is, go get that Jerry Jeudy value, bro. The Bruce.
Also, do you think there's something more wrong with Michael Thomas because they signed Jarvis Landry? What do you think's going on there?
I already addressed that. Appreciate you.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Miss Robeson wants to know, what's a good TV series to watch on Netflix?
Good TV series? Last Kingdom. You tell Miss Robeson, you tell your mom, the Bruce, to watch Last Kingdom. It's like a Vikings warrior type of series where it's unbelievable. It's about a Dane that wants to take back his his family's inheritance of running this like town, and he's got to go through all this to try and do it. It is a phenomenal series. Second is Ozark, Kenny. Ozark. You tell her she needs to watch Last Kingdom and Ozark side by side and decide which one's better, and watch both of them, but watch both of them, bro. Watch both of them.
Back on that trade from earlier, would you still give up Nick Chubb for Jerry Jeudy and A.J. Dillon? Or if it's not A.J. Dillon, then maybe Mike Evans? And this is a Dynasty League, too.
A.J. Dillon. Did I say A.J. Dillon? Or was it A.J. Brown earlier? I thought he said A.J. Brown earlier. Hold on.
Back on the trade from earlier, would you still give up Nick Chubb for Jerry Jeudy and A.J. Dillon?
Did you say A.J. Dillon or A.J. Brown?
And this is the Dynasty League, too.
Okay, so Dynasty League, I'd rather have Chubb because you can win now. I thought it was A.J. Brown. But I think I said A.J. Brown, so you probably knew I was mistaken. I would say Squid Game was good. I don't think it was trash. I like Squid Games. I'd probably say like Chubb's better value right now, and Mike Evans is older. A.J. Dillon's got future. Jerry Jeudy I like a lot. I'd say Chubb, but I'd try and look to trade him. Like, if you can't trade him, don't sell low, but Chubb's going to have a baller year. That's tough, man. Jeudy and Dillon's a decent value. It's not bad if you did that trade, but I tend to think that Chubb you could get a ton for, especially like mid-season. He's going to be going nuts. That's a tough one. It's a close call, bro. It's a very close call.
Hey, what's up, bro? Hey, man, I was thinking about in that league we're drafting over
Don't
there,
swear, Silver.
that old boy that's got Najee Harris, he likes mixing. So I was thinking about turning my mixing into Najee. What should I give with that? You know what I mean? What's too much to give with that?
Thank you for not swearing. I would say Mixon for Najee, you're going to have to give up like a 3rd round, 4th round player. You know, you're going to have to give up I'd give up any 2nd round pick. To turn Mixon into Najee, I'd probably give a 1st round pick because Mixon's got 1 year left, in my opinion. I think Mixon could even have a banged up year, but he could have 1 year left. I don't think he's got multiple years left. I would give up a future first. I would give up a wide receiver or a backup quarterback if this person doesn't have a strong quarterback. You're gonna have to give me some details on that.
Yeah, he was wanting Dak Prescott, and I got Dak as my backup, so I could probably go Dak and Mixon. I didn't offer Dak and Mixon.
I can tell the future.
A 3rd rounder rookie pick next year, and he didn't go for that. I mean, do you think the 1st or 2nd rounder with that's too much? What do you think?
Giving up Dak, if it's a 1 QB league, right? I'm assuming it's a 1 QB league. If it's a 2 QB league, Dak alone could get you that upgrade, and that would be even questionable to do. In a 1 QB league, Dak and a 2nd rounder with Mixon, try that. Would I give up Dak, a 1st rounder, and Mixon, and you don't need Dak, and your pick's going to be late? I probably do that for Najee. I think Najee's that good. It's a real tough. Peaky Blinders is good, Omar. It's a real tough trade to make. Like, it's not easy, but I think I probably do it. You know what I mean?
What time do you think the Cup League is going to start? I'm ready to kick some ass.
Don't swear. Don't swear. Caden. We got advertisers, man. June 1st. It starts June 1st, Caden. Take 2 laps for the entire situation. June 1st, it's going to last 2 months long. There's an hour timer. It's off at midnight to 6 a.m. You got to pre-rank because not everybody, like you could be on deck at midnight and then go to bed and not get up between 6 and 7. Like if the person drafts, like let's say at 3 a.m., you can still draft, when the timer's off. And you're on the clock and the timer starts right at 6 a.m. and you time out at 7 a.m. You got to pre-rank. A lot of people are going to time out. Caden. All right.
Hey, Smitty. So with the possible discipline coming to Jerry Jeudy for whatever reason, if and when something like that happens,
no.
Do you see KJ Hamler possibly getting a bump up in value because of that? Love the show, brother.
Appreciate you, Corey. As you've probably seen, we don't think that Jerry Jeudy's getting any suspension. If he does, KJ Hamler, ACL recovery, like him a lot. Super talented, but will he be fully ready on week 1? If this is a short 1 game or 2 game suspension or no suspension, then Hamler doesn't have that opportunity to really grasp anything. But I do like him. I think by the midseason, he could be the wide receiver 3, and he's good enough. Let me say he's good enough to be the number 1 overall wide receiver in Denver. It's a longer shot. I'm just saying he's got the talent. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to become Russell Wilson's favorite guy. But he's like Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. All 3 of those guys could be the number 1 on the team. Know that. So just kind of, draft accordingly where you can get those guys in value. Now it's time to go to the phone lines. So
call into the show. Call into the show.
Call into the show. Dial 602 NFL. Dong.
Call into the show.
Call into the show. Dial 602 NFL. Dong.
Hit me with your questions. And if you got any more voice messages, guys, drop them like it's hot in the voicemail chats. Let's go. And if you want to leave a voice message and you're not in the voicemail groups, I still check my IG messages to answer them. So, bye weeks. We got to talk about bye weeks. Here's Caden. Caden's got a couple more, I think.
What What time do you think the Cup League is going to start? I'm ready to kick some ass.
Ah!
And you were right about my trade. Initially, it was A.J. Brown, but I didn't feel like he would give up Jeudy and A.J. Brown for Chubb. So I was also trying to think about, because he has A.J. Dillon and he has Mike Evans. I was trying to figure it out.
I could have swore you said A.J. Brown the first time. Yeah. A.J. Dillon and Jeudy aren't enough. What's the word on James Cook? James, go watch the show. I can't. James, we're not here just... The world doesn't circle around you, James. Okay? Just because James Cook and James Stark, you guys have the same first name, the world doesn't revolve around you. We can't replay the entire show for you, James. The gist of it is that he signed a 4-year deal. He's being called a sub back. We don't know if he can be the guy, but he could be the guy. But he's got a lot of uphill climbing to do. But he's worth a late grab. Not probably worth an early grab. Jimmy G or over Tua? No, Tua over Jimmy G. Jimmy G is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. Looks like McAfee with a pencil. I don't know what you're talking about, Bruce. Dial into the show.
Call into the show. Dial 602 NFL.
Appreciate you, James Stark, by the way. Smitty, been wondering, don't have a second to phone in. Can you rank your top 10 tight ends? I'm probably not going to go through the top 10, bro, but I'll tell you this. I'll tell you that it's probably going to be Kelsey. It's going to be probably Andrews and then Kyle Pitts for me. And then you've got this group of guys that fall later in most people's minds that I love to go acquire, like Freiermuth, like Dawson Knox, like Dalton Schultz, even above those two guys, like Albert O, probably below all those guys, but a lot of upside. Darren Waller above all of those guys, not the Pitts and Kelsey, but Darren Waller in like the 5th round, like late 5th round, sometimes early 6th round. Why not? Why not? It's win a league material, Darren Waller there. So I would say that. Where's a question I saw? Josh Allen is a huge part of that run game. I wouldn't be too high on the Bills running back. Well, here's the thing, Mr. B. The final 6 games of the season, Singletary ran for 9 touchdowns, or scored 9 touchdowns, ran for 8 of them. Had a couple 100-yard games. They absolutely balled on the ground and was consistent from week 15, 16, 17, 18, all the way through the playoffs. The last 6 played games for the Buffalo Bills, including the playoffs on back to week 15. 9 total touchdowns by the running back Singletary alone in those 6 games. So there was an opportunity. Had they drafted a running back like Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker, that would have proved to me that they were going to continue on that streak of running the ball and keeping a balanced attack. But I think the drafting of Cook makes me feel like they're more apt to rotate, but Cook could grab a hold of the job and be the only healthy running back in a scenario like that. Cook could take off. So it's kind of all up to Cook if the opportunity presents itself. But I can say pretty comfortably right now, based on the comments by Bean and everybody involved there, that they don't see him as the starter. He's got to prove it. Appreciate the tight end take. Waller value over Kittle ADP then. Yeah, Kittle's used as a blocker too much, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't trust Kittle in the top 3 or 4. I'd rather have Dalton Schultz later. It's not that I draft Dalton Schultz over Kittle. I just let somebody else draft Kittle. I'll take Knox or Dalton or Waller below Kittle because Kittle's going like in round 4, roughly. No thanks. Hit the like button on your way in the door. Pulverize the like button. Smash it. You're live on the Fantasy Football Show. What can I do for you? Who am I talking to?
Hey, you're talking to the Bruce.
The Bruce. Hold on, the Bruce. Hold on. Hold on.
The Bruce is loose.
What's up, buddy boy?
I have a question. How many people on one team should you be able to draft? Like, could I draft Knox, Diggs, and Josh Allen, or is that like one too many players?
7. Seven's the secret magic number. You want to own 7 guys from one team. Always.
All right. Yeah,
I'm just kidding,
like,
bro.
I didn't know.
It's all dependent. It's situation dependent, bro. It totally matters. What's going on? What team is it? Is it the Bills? You can own Dawson Knox, Josh Allen, and Diggs all on one fantasy football roster. Because think about it this way, Bruce. When you're talking about owning a majority of a team, it doesn't really matter how many players you own from that one team. What matters is what the draft capital looks like for the cost of investment, the entry point. So, like, if you talk about owning Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, and Mahomes, those are your first 3 overall picks. So if the Chiefs do bad, your whole team's going to suck because your supporting cast with those guys are 4th, 5th, 6th round picks. If you're talking about Josh Allen in round 3, Diggs in round 2, Knox in round 7 or 8, you still got a first rounder to help complement that group. And so therefore, if the Bills do bad, you still got a first round player on your team. You still got other guys. So it really matters what we're talking about big picture wise. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The answer is not 7.
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't know. I was like, okay, I'm probably going to, because like the Bills, but you talked me into Dawson Knox. So I was like, I was already in on Diggs and Josh Allen. So I'm like, oh man, now I got to see if I could draft another Bill.
Yeah, I mean,
how many players.
It's great to have ownership of a high potent offense. Like the Bills are rarely going to fall flat. So, like the Raiders could fall flat. The Raiders could fall flat on offense more than the Bills could. So, like having all Raiders offense could probably, burn you more times than having an all Bills offense because, like I said, the capital's a little lower overall. You got Diggs in like the 2nd round. You got Allen in the 3rd or 4th round. You still got a first rounder on your team. But if you're talking about like Hill and Kelsey, you're probably drafting one of those guys like at 12 and the other one at 13 or something. And then you got Mahomes in round 3. You have nothing else if the KC Chiefs fall flat. Another example would be, let's say the Green Bay Packers. You got Aaron Jones, you got Watson, and you got Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't hurt to own all 3 of those guys at all because they're all going to be grabbed like 4th round and beyond. So you still got your 1st, your 2nd, your 3rd. You have no implications of a bad Green Bay game. Like there's no ramifications or downside because you still have other talent that can carry you.
Yeah.
All right, Bruce, you got anything else?
No, I had to figure out how many people I could have because you talked me into Knox.
Yeah.
And I'm really into the Bills this year. It's them and the Niners are my Super Bowl pick.
Attaboy.
I think Trey Lance is going to, they may have a tough schedule, but I think Trey Lance is the guy that's going to take them there.
Trey Lance is a baller, and he's going to make the Niners a wee bit taller. You call back if you have any more questions, the Bruce. We appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
The Bruce is loose.
Dial in.
Call into the show. Dial 602 NFL. Dong.
Getting lots of good players from good teams is always a smart formula. Again, if you are getting them in good balance as it relates to the rest of your players. Brady, Evans, Fournette is a stack. Yeah, because you're getting Brady in like 6 round range, 5 or 6, 7 round range. You're getting Fournette in like, now that Rashad White's going to be threatening his job, Fournette should fall really far. And I don't even get Rashad White and Fournette together. That would be a good cuff. And then Evans will go like in round 3 or 4. So like you still got 1st and 2nd rounders. So that stack is fine too. I like Schultz is top 5. Absolutely. Schultz is one of my favorite tight ends to grab. In fact, I'm probably going to own Dalton Schultz pretty much in like 40% of my leagues. I think he's going to consume a lot of that target share left by both Ced Wilson and Amari Cooper. So, and Zeke Elliott's going to catch less balls. It's going to be receipt season when it comes to the Dalton Schultz haters out there. Rob with a question. Yo, Smitty, I like Nick Chubb this year because you can get Hunt at a good price as a cuff. I agree. I think Hunt has fallen out of that running back 2 value. And honestly, people will probably be scared to put him in their flex. So now is the time. Now is the time to go all in on the Chubb Kareem Hunt cuff. It's a very, very good point. I've mentioned it before. I'm glad you brought it back to my attention because that's something that needs to be emphasized, bro. We need to emphasize that more. That cuff is underrated. That cuff is one of the best cuffs in fantasy football. And on that note, Kareem Hunt might have re-entered the super handcuff territory. He had exited super handcuff territory last year because you couldn't get him as a cuff. You had to draft him as a standalone player. Kareem Hunt's now a super handcuff again. He's a super handcuff. You can get him late. Gabe Davis was unstoppable down the stretch for the Bills. That's right. I think he's a good value this year. What about Ford through getting crowded? What are you talking about, Kenny? Spell it out. Thoughts on Brisbane. Have Herbert trade Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson? I mean, yeah, Ricky, it depends on what you can get, though, bro. I don't know if you asked another question up above. Andrew says, I have Kelsey, Muth, and Schultz. You could definitely trade one of those guys. I love those guys, bro. That's an insane tight end room you got there. Pollard season is coming. It's not next year, Terry. It is this year. So get ready. Terry, get ready. The ultimate cuff. Yes, he is. Cleveland got Ford, the running back. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. You're talking about third or fourth on the depth chart. Not worried about it. Thoughts on Cordero Patterson? Now that Mike Davis is gone. Yeah, I mean, you got to be excited, but they have said that they want to run him more as a wide receiver. So you know what that tells me, Omar? It's Tyler Algier that you want to own. I would definitely grab Cordero Patterson and cuff him to Tyler Algier. And a lot of people won't even know who Tyler Algier is. I would say most people that draw and think like this, they don't know who Tyler Algier is. So you can steal Tyler Algier away, who might end up being a guy that starts games and impresses in Atlanta. So Cordell Patterson, I grab him, I cuff him to Tyler Algier. Might be a really sneaky running back too, especially if Patterson is successful playing more wide receiver. I think he definitely is somebody they turn to at the goal line. Touchdowns could be there again for CPAT, but I think Tyler Algier is the guy you want to hopefully be using at the end of the year because he's a monster. I really hope he gets a hold of that starting job in Atlanta. I love Tyler Algier. You know what Tyler Algier makes me think?
Woo! You know.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Tyler Algier. Okay. Phone lines are going off. Appreciate everybody that dialed in. Close this bad boy out unless somebody sneaks in. And they don't. The phone lines are closed. Appreciate everybody here.
Smitty, you're not hearing me. I don't know a lot about fantasy football. I know everything about fantasy football. Woo! You know. Smitty, you're not hearing me. I don't know a lot about fantasy football. I know everything about fantasy football. Woo!
You are off for sex. You are made off for sex.
Anyway, I'm out of here. That is the show for today. Where's that? Hold on, I need to do something real quick to that.
Smitty, you're not hearing me. I don't know a lot about fantasy football. I know everything about fantasy football. Woo! You know. Woo! You know.
There, I had to put that on there. I wanted to keep that Tom Cruise question on there, so I had to play it over and over. All right, appreciate everybody that's here. Get burrowed. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.
We're back Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Join me. Get ready for Monday's show, but also know that this man, Smitty. Hey, Smitty. When do you go live again, Smitty? Number one, I go live a lot at night to mock drafts, so make sure you have notifications turned on. Make sure you're subbed up, and make sure you Jerry Jeudy that like button right now. Smitty, what other times do you go live? I go live anytime there's breaking news. Hey, Smitty, does that mean that if let's say somebody signs a big contract like Cooper Kupp or DK Metcalf, you'll be live? That's right, Bob. I'll be live in that case. What if somebody big gets traded? What do you think, Bob? I'll be live. What about if Jarvis Landry signs with the Saints? I won't be live. As you noticed, I didn't go live when Jarvis Landry signed. But any other breaking news, think of me. I will be live. Leave a comment. I answer every comment.